Full disclosure, I am a lover of most things Laphroaig, and as such, one of the whiskeys I make sure to pick up each and every year is the latest release of the Laphroaig Cairdeas. Now, the name Cairdeas in Gaelic means friendship, and this whiskey is released for the Friends of Laphroaig in time for Feis every year. Now, the Friends of Laphroaig was started in 1994, about 31 years ago, and 30 years prior to the release of the most recent Cairdeas release. And for the 2024 release of the Cairdeas, the 10-year-old Cask Favourites, what they wanted to do was kind of relive some of the past Cairdeas glory while putting a new spin on it. Let's dive into this nostalgic Laphroaig Cairdeas and see what it's made of. My name is Matt. This is Whiskey on the West Coast. The Laphroaig Cairdeas for 2024 is called Cask Favourites because it's combining two of the three cask types from 2019's Triple Wood, being Ex-Bourbon and quarter casks, with the Pedro Ximénez sherry casks of the 2021 release. In this case, they finished those Ex-Bourbon and quarter casks in Pedro Ximénez sherry casks. One of the other big things you might note from this year's release is that we actually have the return of the age statement. There is a 10-year age statement on this release, which I think is really cool, and it's a really positive development with the Laphroaig Cairdeas line. The last time I think we had an age statement on the Laphroaig Cairdeas was 2017, a 15-year-old. So it's really cool to see that age statement return. They also have rebranded this year for Laphroaig overall. There's new kind of different styling on the labels. There's new cork with a new embossing in the top. And actually they've moved to this kind of square box here instead of, I'll show you, these tubes that they were using before. This is the Cairdeas release prior to this one, the 2023, the White Port and Madeira. So you can see the difference there. So yeah, some different things happening here and a different look. Now, getting a bottle of Laphroaig Cairdeas release is a pretty tricky feat in British Columbia. It only happens once a year that it's actually released. And you actually have to stand out in line during the Fall Spirits release to get it. This year, I actually managed to get a bottle early from another province, from Alberta, and since this whiskey was bottled for the Friends of Laphroaig, I thought the best thing I could possibly do is just share it with people in line to see if they wanted to go ahead and purchase it themselves. And that's exactly what I did. I brought this bottle with me as we camped out overnight waiting for the whiskey release. The Laphroaig Cairdeas Cask Favourites, bottled for Feis in 2024. It's 10 years old, bottled at 52.4% ABV. If you were not aware already, you can actually tell the year that some of the Cairdeas were released just by looking at the ABV. 52.4, the 2.4 at the end is for 2024. The White Port and Madeira from last year was 52.3. And before that, the Maker's Mark Ex-Bourbon Warehouse 1 release of the Cairdeas with 52.2 for 2022. The last one that didn't follow this method was the Pedro Ximénez release in 2021, which I believe was cask strength. This whiskey is non-chill filtered in natural color as far as I can tell, runs about $130 to $150 Canadian, depending on your market. And as mentioned earlier, ex-bourbon casks and quarter casks, then finished in Pedro Ximénez sherry casks. Let's get to the whiskey. Let's get to this review. On the nose, sweet and rich coastal smoke, like burning pine trees, but also this layer of like root beer, like straight up like dad's root beer or something actually better than that. But it's like, what is that? Is that sassafras? I'm just gonna say root beer because I'm confident in that. Oh, it's gorgeous. There's this like cola note too, so we're definitely on the pop there. Blueberry with like a touch of coffee. No, more than a touch. There's a good amount of coffee in that. This is an earthy and sweet whiskey, and that's just, oh man, that's right up my alley. There's like a sandalwood note here. Some fruit in there too, like raisin, cigar box, and leather. Like, man, oh man. But it's got those like typical Laphroaig notes, like TCP, iodine, bit of that like seaweed sort of note. Thinking about fruit once again, I'm picking up like, yeah, like apricot. And On the dessert notes, like there's like this tiramisu sort of note. Honestly, though, this nose, it's a lovely interchange between like ex-bourbon and sherry casks. Like both have something to say. Both are really contributing in the conversation here, which I think is just, I mean, the blender has done a fantastic job putting these together. Yeah, at least on the nose, really well blended. Loving that. All right, let's take a sip. Sláinte. Almond liqueur, like that. I mean, amaretto, which I always get like a Dr. Pepper sort of vibe. Dark fruits, leather, and tobacco. Again, on that kind of like cigar sort of vibe. But there's that medicinal smoke right now into the finish, billowing medicinal type smoke. Oh yeah, loving that. Blackberry, plums on those dark fruits. Again, raisin, molasses, seaweed candy, like candied kelp. I've used that one before. Yeah, that's what it's inspiring here. Just some spice too, actually. Some really nice spice notes, but more on like very dessert and candy tones. So nutmeg or like ginger candies, ginger chews. Wow. Yeah, like molasses, some wood char on the finish right now, like light peppering, leather and tobacco, and that medicinal coastal kind of influenced smoke is still billowing. Yeah, beautiful smoky flourish here on the finish, but also has some dessert tones in there, like salted milk chocolate. But the biggest thing that I'm kind of getting a sense of is like sweet cigar smoke. Just after you've taken a nice drag on a cigar. I don't have cigars very often, but when I do, I really do enjoy them. And that's kind of the sense I'm getting from this. Wow. Okay, I'm probably going to take one more sip here and then I'll get to my final thoughts. I will mention that, if I didn't already, really excited about the fact that we already know what the next Laphroaig Cairdeas is going to be. That Laphroaig Cairdeas Lower at cask strength. That is going to be a killer whiskey. At least I think it's going to be. If you've already had the 48% version of Lore, for 2025, the Cairdeas release is Lore at cask strength. That sounds killer. Really excited for that. That is a dynamite whiskey. I love this whiskey. I love it so much that I lined up again overnight in line just so that I could have a backup bottle of this. I do have one backup. Honestly, I'd like another, but I'm not going to get too greedy here. And really, it's tough to get here in British Columbia anyways. I know it recently released in Ontario at the LCBO. I understand that the Laphroaig Cairdeas releases are a bit easier to get in markets like the United States occasionally. Yeah, I think this is a fantastic whiskey. In line that night, I mentioned I brought a bottle with me. I wanted others to be able to experience it, to make the decision, an informed decision, if they wanted to buy their own bottle, because I already believed highly in this whiskey. This one really hit home for me. I think this is the best Cairdeas release in years. And that's not hyperbole. I mean, I really do think this is one of the better ones I've had. Now, I want to put this claim to the test though, and what I'm planning to do, because one, you guys have supported me in such a fantastic way. Thank you very much. We've crossed that 3,000 subscriber threshold. We're a bit over 3,000 subscribers, so I want to do a live stream just to hang out with you guys and thank you for all of the support. And during that live stream, I'm going to crack open a special bottle, but I'm also going to go ahead and do a head-to-head showdown of all the Cairdeas releases I have in my collection right now, and that would be the 2021 PX, the 2022 Warehouse One Maker's Mark Ex-Bourbon, the 2023 White Port and Madeira cask, and then this Cask Favourites 2024, as well as the original Cairdeas Triple Wood. I have a small sample thanks to Whiskey Pang, Michael Pang. Thank you for that, man. I'm going to put these all to the test. I might even do it blind, but I'm really excited to do that, guys. I should get to the score here. This is going to be a big score, but you can tell from my enthusiasm how much I'm enjoying it. This score is going to be a 90 out of 100, which, again, massive score, but I am loving this whiskey. This is what I love about Laphroaig. Old Laphroaig, yes, the subtle lower peat level of Old Laphroaig when it goes tropical, it's gorgeous, but it's expensive. And when we're looking at the price on this at $130 Canadian was what I got this at, man, yeah, 90 out of 100. That's the score solidly. I love this whiskey. I hope you can get your hands on it if you don't already have a bottle. I hope you'll join me for the 3,000 subscribers celebration live stream when we do this Cairdeas head-to-head. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Thank you to my Patreons for supporting me in that way. It means so much to me, and it helps the channel continue to do what it does. Thank you guys all for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. And until next time, from the West Coast, Sláinte.